Good morning and welcome to this edition of Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard. Good morning, Dr. Pollard.
Hey,
Hey,
good
good
morning,
morning,
Donna.
Donna.
Good
Good
morning. Good
morning. Good
morning. How
morning.
are
How
you
are you
doing?
doing?
I'm doing well, had a great weekend, got a lot of work done, so I'm feeling very productive today on this Motivation Monday. How about you, Dr. Pollard?
Oh,
Oh,
same
same
here.
here.
Same here.
Same
I had
here. I
a
had a
great
great
weekend. I
weekend that
can
I
say
can
got
say
a
got a
lot of
lot of
things
things
accomplished that
accomplished that I
wanted to get
wanted to get
accomplished,
accomplished,
and I'm
and I'm
grateful
grateful
for
for
it.
it.
Yeah, so do you have a word today for Motivation Monday since we're going to be talking about the
Yes,
Center for Student Success coming up?
yes,
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 yes.
yes.
Joshua
Joshua
chapter
chapter
1,
1,
verse
verse
8.
8.
You know
You know
what is
what is
wonderful
wonderful
about this
about this
chapter is
chapter is
that
that
Israel was
Israel was
making a
making a
transition
transition
from the
from the
great
great
leadership of
leadership of
Moses
Moses
to the
to the
new
new
leadership of
leadership of
Joshua.
Joshua.
And the
And the
Lord had
Lord
a
had a
message to
message.
Joshua. He said, look, he said in Joshua chapter 1, verse 8, this book of the law will not depart from your mouth, but you will meditate upon it day and night, that you may observe to do all that is written in it. For then will you make your way prosperous, and then you will have good success.
Wow.
See, there are principles to success.
Mhm.
And this is one of the things that I think is so important for an academic institution to communicate to students. I don't know one student who doesn't want to be successful.
Yes.
I don't know one faculty member who doesn't want to be successful. I don't know one employee who doesn't want to be successful. I don't know one administrator who doesn't want to be successful. And when we open this little text in Joshua, what we see is the Lord says, now you will have success, but it is based upon the principles, upon the teachings and the practices that I will disclose to you within this book. And
Mm.
so if we follow the blueprint, the success is guaranteed. And that's what I see in this little text, that God says, if you meditate on those things and then observe what I do, so you have to think about them and
Yeah.
then you have to do them. So
Mhm.
look at it. It is both cognitive and it's affective
Mhm.
for
Wow.
educators out there. It means that you are going to not only think about them, you're going to create the right mental construct, but
Mhm.
you're also going to go out now and then you're going to implement them, thinking about them, cognition, and then affective. In the affective domain, the things that you do will yield, and the result will be the outcome. See, there it is, the outcome. The outcome will be success. And that's what we're talking about this morning. We're talking about student success and the principles and the practices that drive that.
Wow, that's great, Dr. Pollard. So let's go ahead and talk about this Center for Student Success. And what we want to bring in Dr. Gamble to tell us all about this program and what it is and when did it get started?
Well, good morning. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
everyone. I just want to start with a quote. My dad used to read to me every day when I was struggling in school as a young person. He started reading it to me when I was 10 years old, all the way until I made it through my doctoral program every year. In fact, if I probably went home um, anytime soon, he'd still read it to me. It's by Albert Gray, and it's in an essay called The Common Denominator of Success.
Hmm.
Successful people have the habit of doing things unsuccessful people don't like to do. They don't like doing them either necessarily, but their disliking is subordinated to the strength of their purpose. Oakwood University has a particular purpose and particular mission. We enter to learn and we depart to serve. And we want to make sure that students are in that capacity to do that. So thinking back to some may have been at Oakwood a few years ago, and I'm just saying a few, they may remember the DLRC or the Center for Academic Advancement or the Center for Academic Success. Now we are the Center for Student Success, where we have continue to have tutoring, but we also have an innovative reading and writing lab. We have a disability lab that supports students with not only accommodations, but also with testing, organization. We even hired student learning assistants to help students organize and do what they need to do. And definitely, we have our advisors who help students select courses, but also work with time management, work with stress management. And every once in a while, they'll make referrals to our counseling, which is a part of our student services overall, but they may need health or other supports. And then overall, we kind of see ourselves as just cheerleaders. We like to encourage and motivate and inspire students to continue to do well academically. I was a recipient of that type of support when I was a student just a little while ago at Oakwood University. Oh, this is all gray hair on me. But yes, I like to continue that moving forward for our students. And I'm glad we do have a student here today, and I'm looking forward to hearing from what she has to say about it as well, because that's what inspires us and keeps us moving forward at the Center for Student Success.
So this is a program that's been around and available to students at Oakwood for a while? How long, Dr. Pollard, or
for a while, yes. At least since I was a student there, and probably a little bit
you
before.
don't want to say?
Well, well, Donna, one of the things I think it's important for our audience to know is that as we think about the function of an institution and the transmission of its education, and of course, the cultivation of the educational product, part of what we do at HBCUs is open enrollment. So in open enrollment, that means that we get students across the whole spectrum of academic performance. We have students who are exceptional performers. We have students who have struggled with their performance. The Center for Student Success empowers all of these students. Sometimes we think about the Center for Student Success as only for the students who struggle with academic performance. But the Center for Student Success can also assist the high performers, the high achievers, to do what they do and to do it more effectively and to do it more efficiently. It's been around for more than 50 years, actually, here at Oakwood University. And its mission is to actually enable students across the whole continuum, as I'm sure Dr. Richardson would want to comment, across the whole continuum of performance to be better and better and better as they go along, because learning is going to be a lifelong vocation. And so the skills that one acquires in order to learn more efficiently and more effectively will serve them not only while they're matriculating through Oakwood, but across the whole scope, the whole time span of their lifestyle, of their life. So that's what I would think about. Dr. Richardson?
Yes, and thank you, Dr. Pollard, and good morning to everyone, to our listening folks out there. And, we just want to say good morning to everybody. But, the bookends of success is starting and finishing. And what we do at the Center for Student Success is we partner with our students, and listen to that key word. We partner with our students so they can be successful. We do that, as Dr. Gamble talked about, with our peer mentoring program that we've got, our tutoring program, our academic advising, because we want our students to finish their academic journey in 4 years or less. Amen, somebody.
Amen.
Because when we think about their academic success, right, we think about their financial success, right? So we want them to get through school in a way that is affordable. And so, I think we talked about how long I've been a part of the student success. I experienced it when I was at Oakwood University. I'm a graduate of Oakwood, so I experienced the student success when I was here as well. I wish I was Dr. Pollard, one of those high performance students when I arrived, but I struggled a little bit, but God was with me every step of the way. And those in the student success was with me every step of the way. And that was critical for my success at Oakwood University. And so that's what we do. We talked about, Dr. Gamble mentioned enter to learn in terms of our motto, enter to learn, depart to serve. But our mission is transformational. We transform students through biblical-based education for service to God and humanity. And that is key, because that's what the Center of Student Success does. We come aside you, we partner with you to help you to be successful.
Wow, that's amazing, Dr. Pollard. How important is it, though, for an HBCU to have this type of program for its students? And is it a common thing for all colleges and universities?
Yes, it is in many ways. Now, it translates itself based upon the admission standards of various institutions, and it focuses on different particularities within the actual disciplines. So, for instance, you may have a student support service in a program of engineering because there's some particularities once one gets to engineering that might be particularly challenging for some of the students. But yes, to answer your question specifically, Donna, across all of our HBCUs and other public institutions and non-HBCUs, we have these centers in which, and they call them different things: Center for Student Achievement, Center for Student Success, Center for Success. I guess I just made that up. So yeah, so if you think about it, they appear in different arenas under different nomenclature. But the reality is, every student, I don't care how great a student is, every student can learn to do something more effectively. Every student, even the 4.0, the 4.2 student who comes to us, the student who is in honors can learn to do some things much more effectively. One of the things, Donna, that strikes me, that just comes to mind as we're talking, I spent a number of years working at Loma Linda University, and there I served on 3 different kinds of admissions committees. One was for medicine, one nursing, the other was for pharmacy. These are very demanding programs. Here is what we learned about medicine. We learned that in medicine, one needed to be able to read at about 900 words per minute at a minimum, and then we have about an 85% retention rate, comprehension rate of the things that were being read in order to successfully navigate. Now, you could come in reading more slowly and you would make it through medical school, but it would be much more efficient if you were reaching those standards. So what did we do? We put in place actually what we now call speed reading. We actually had speed reading classes for medical students in order to help get them up to those thresholds that would make learning easier. Now, obviously, getting into medical school, these students were really doing very, very well. But even once they got there, they realized that there were things that they could do a lot better. So again, it works at every level of learning, and it works across a whole variety of disciplines. This whole notion that students can be more successful if we provide them support and resources.
Well, let's hear from our student now. See how this is really, really benefiting students. So we have Joeline Muhawenimana here.
Yes.
And she is going to.
You got it.
Did she get it, Joeline?
She got it. She got it.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. All right, so tell us about your experience and why did you decide to take advantage of this program on campus, the Center for Student Success?
Yes, thank you for having me. Good morning, you guys.
Good morning.
So basically, when I first started coming to Oakwood, I would be honest, like I was in a place where I did not know how to mix my work life and my academic life, you know, so like everything was just trying to figure all that out. And then plus being not going to college for a long time and just jumping back into like, you know, school. So that was a good place to start, and being connected to, you know, like they said, and an advisor to help me, you know, figure out like my learning style, time management, you know, to basically help me get to where, you know, I knew I wanted to be academically. So, and I feel like with this program, being connected to like a good advisor, I think goes a long way, because thanks to Dr. Watson, you know, shout out to her. I feel like without her, you know, I wouldn't be where I am right now, because not only did she direct me to resources that would help me, you know, succeed, she was also a listening ear. You know, she was more than that, you know. She, because I also know I was also going through some things, and she just was like, just talk to me, you know, I can help you. So having that person there, you know, to help you support, and like you said, like being like a cheerleader for you, it was very, very much appreciated. And then also being my first year of, you know, here at Oakwood, not knowing how everything is set up, it was very helpful, you know, to have her guide me through all the process and to show me like, oh, this is where you go to, you know, help with the workshop, like time, like we had a bunch of workshops to help us too, like the time management, how to, you know, basically combine the, like what I was struggling with, work life and school life together to help us, you know, maintain that, you know, make sure we don't fall off academically, but then also make sure, you know, we're, you know, surviving well. So this, thank goodness, you know, for this program, which really, really helped, you know, me strive and not fall back. So I definitely.
So you are a sophomore there, right?
Yes, I am.
Did I understand, for clarity, did I understand that you said you started the first year, then you kind of set back and then came back?
Oh no, I started my my freshman year. That was my first year at Oakwood.
Okay.
So, and then through the program, it helped me, you know, get out and be, you know, the sex where I am today. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm still working on there, but through that guidance of the program, it has helped me be in a much better standing.
No, it just sounded like you were saying you had a little break in there somewhere from, but okay, you didn't. All right. So tell me, you know, you say that this has really, really helped you. Did you have any like learning disabilities or anything like that? Because they say it's for high achieving and those who have challenges as well. So where were you in that that range, in that area?
Personally, for me, learning disability, not as much. It was more trying to find out my learning style. Because one thing I had to learn, like everybody learn at a different pace and learn differently. So I did not know how, what my learning style was. So that program basically just helped me figure out what that was and just focus on that and go, and strengthen those, parts out.
Okay,
So that was, yeah.
that's great. So you are a good student, but learning I think that is very important, Dr. Pollard.
Yes,
Know
very much.
that you do have to know your learning style, because then you can take advantage of it and then
Right.
do better. So, well, so
Yes.
would you recommend other students to be a part of?
Most definitely, most definitely, because this, I'm, like I'm a success story. So for anybody, like they said, it's for anybody. You don't have to, like be on the disability account. It's for any range. So if you feel like you are in need of like some structure or guidance, to get to where you want to be successfully, definitely I recommend to, join this program.
So Donna,
I just want to give a real quick commercial for our first year experience. One of the things that we do is our students come in and we really get to know them. As Dr. Pollard was talking about, we take some time to either test, take a look at where they're coming from. We want to place them in a quality experience. So that's part of our OU 101 freshman studies course. And all our students actually do, provided that they stay with it throughout the semester, they go ahead and take a learning styles assessment, they take a career assessment, so they're better able to matriculate through the program. We have a great director, Ms. Chastity Pettigrew, who does a great job with that. And we really try to connect students with their faculty members so they're clear about their path through the university. But we want to let them know that you're not alone in this. And that's part of what we really try to do with OU 101. Let them know that they're not alone in making it through Oakwood, and that you're also a part of a broader international world, I would say even universal community. We're talking about the spiritual realm, and part of that Oakwood history. You're a living, active part of history. So we want to support you in everything that you're doing. So I don't know if you saw me smiling a little bit, but Joeline was also one of my students in one of my PE courses. So I had to learn how to say her name as well when we called. She had to help me quite a bit, but we figured it out. But I'm just excited to see that she took advantage of the service. This is exactly what we want to see. Students come in and we're able to assess, evaluate where they are, and then work with them so they're able to make it to their sophomore year, because sometimes that's our biggest concern. Just so they can make it to their sophomore year and they understand the full system. And she's, so I'm Joeline, you go, girl. Keep
so Donna, and thank you. So Donna, one of the things that I wanted to add, and thank you, Dr. Gamble. First of all, I'm privileged because as the Vice President of Mission, Enrollment Services and Retention, we're always thinking about how we can improve the student experience. We're always thinking about the student support system. So what I want to say to our listeners is that student success is for everybody. Mm-hmm. See, oftentimes we think it's just for those that are having challenges, but it's not just for those that are having challenges academically, but it is to support students so they can matriculate in a timely fashion, and that they have the support that they need to be successful. So we mentioned several things. You talked about the first year experience. So when you enter into Oakwood University, we assign you a peer mentor that works along with you, along with your academic advisors. And so we're guiding you along the process. So we talked about that. Then of course, when we think about the broadness of retention and student services, we think about the second year experience and how we're engaged with our students in that way, right? Then we think, of course, how do we transition where they are academically with Dr. Gamble mentioned their faculty and academic advisor, right? So we're always alongside with our students to help them to be successful. So yes, the Center of Student Success is for everybody, and it's a process that spans from their entering into Oakwood University and to the completion there at Oakwood University as well. So I'm excited about this department and the good work that is being done to help students to be successful at Oakwood University.
Now, do you also help students transition into their careers after school? Is any help there, assistance there when after they've graduated and actually?
Absolutely. We have our Career Connection Center. Now, that works along with us as well. It's a partnership. So once again, when we think about retention, right? helping students to be successful. But then of course completion, right? We talk about graduation, but then we want them to be employed. And so our Center for Student Success works along with these students. We have an incredible program. We have what we call micro internships, where we engage a student when they come into Oakwood University, and we connect them with their field of choice, and where they can begin to work in that field while they're on campus, right? So we're working along with them in the Center for Student Success, where we're dialoguing with them, we're preparing them to work, to get into the workforce. So yes, we do that, and we monitor them, and we help them along the way. George Bartholomew oversees our Center for Student Success area, and so Jorge Bartholomew, but we work together to be successful in that way. We want Oakwood University, each one of our students, when they come in, to be successful, of course, while they're here, but also when they go out to make a difference in the community.
So let me just speak to the student who might be challenged. You know, so many times we think about HBCUs, and as African Americans, we know that if we can't get into one of those other schools, we can definitely get into an HBCU if our grades are not as good, if we have some kind of learning challenge or anything like that. Is that still like legitimate this in our time now, that, you know, even if you might have some learning challenges, you can still get enrolled, Dr. Richardson, into Oakwood University with your learning challenge, and then the university does work with them with the Center for Student Success?
Yes, absolutely. Dr. Pollard mentioned it, open access, that we want to open up our arms to any student that wants to get an education. That's what HBCUs were set up for, to help minorities, and the Black and brown folks, and of course white folks that want to be a part of it. We want to be, you know, but we're open. The mission, of course, was to historically Black colleges and universities to minister to those, and to work with those students that were interested, that were Black and brown, to get an academic degree. And so yes, we still open up our doors for students that feel that there's a challenge, and we do, as we've said early on, we work with them to help them to be successful. Now, once again, I want to point you to the mission of Oakwood, which is transformational. So we transform those students in that way, and we've taken on that challenge. And I think, Dr. Pollard, I want to say, I think Oakwood University has done a great job.
Tremendous job, tremendous job. And I'm piggybacking on what Dr. Richardson has said. When we think about the mission of HBCUs, Donna, because you kind of alluded to that, the idea is that we would provide access to students across the whole continuum of performance. And that's what HBCUs have done historically. Even though we're only 3% of all institutions of higher education, many people don't know that, since we're talking about Kamala as vice president, you know, we're talking about that, and we're celebrating that. But they also didn't know is that 46% of Black female engineers graduate from HBCUs. Even though we're only 3% of all institutions. So, and I can cite statistic after statistic that shows that HBCUs are punching beyond their weight class. I wish I had a witness now. We are punching beyond our weight class. And the work of Dr. Richardson and Dr. Gamble, our Career Pathways Initiative, which is what Dr. Richardson alluded to, where we pick the student up from recruitment and then move the student all the way through to their career. These are revolutionary concepts in higher education. One of our listeners said that she felt like her daughter was just thrown to the wolves at a particular institution, but not at Oakwood University. Right. We believe that we have a duty of care to every student, and our Career Pathways Initiative expresses that along the student's whole matriculation journey. That's why this is so exciting. This is why this is so exciting.
It is. And I just want to hear from Joeline again, just saying how you feel about, you know, you're going to continue with participating in this program until you graduate, huh?
Oh, yes, I am definitely utilizing this program because I still learn, you know, something new every day, you know, so that program is not just like, oh, if you get to the mark where you want to be, okay, then stop. No, you can still continue to utilize, you know, their sources and, you know, their programs that they have to help you even be better after you finish school and get into the career aspect.
So can you just say one last thing that you really, really come away with and you really benefited you by being a part of this program, that was like the one thing that, oh, thank you, Lord, I got that. Now, I know you talked about understanding your learning style, but is there anything else that you just said that was just the light bulb that went on for you?
It was just the oneness and the familyness of all this. Like, because most of the time, like the schools that I went to, it wasn't like they don't help you like this to be successful. So the fact that to have a school that really wants to treat you like, I sense like all you guys like, uncles and aunties, you guys make me feel like that close. So to have that connection to like, oh, like you see us like, you guys like are like, we're like your guys' kids. You want us to, go and actually prosper and actually do great outside of school. So to have that oneness, to have someone like care about my success, care about, how I do in school and want to guide me to do better, like that is what really made me want to even stick and continue to do this. So
Thank you so much, Joeline. Dr. Pollard, you want to wrap it up for us?
Oh, yes, yes.
Oakwood.
Yes, I'm just so grateful for the work that's being done in our Center for Student Success in Mission and Enrollment Services and Retention. All of this work is designed to enable our students to achieve what God has set out for them. And again, I want to encourage every student, wherever they are along the continuum of academic performance, whether they are the high achievers, the high honors people, or whether they are struggling in some of the courses, please take advantage of this tremendous resource. You've got dedicated servants led by Dr. Gamble, dedicated employees who are committed to every student's success. And it doesn't matter where we are, we may as well learn, if I can say so, we may as well learn to flex that muscle of accessing help. Because if we're going to continue in our matriculation journey, whether it's at the master's or graduate levels, even at those levels, you will still need to know how to seek and find help to help you achieve the goals that God has set out for you. So congratulations, Dr. Richardson, Dr. Gamble, and Joeline, thank you for taking time this morning to share your testimony and your story. We encourage every student to take advantage of this resource called our Center for Student Success.
Thank you. And this has been another edition of Inside Oakwood with Dr. Pollard and guests. We'll see you next time on Thursday for another edition of Inside Oakwood.